If you present yourself as a journalist, you're kind of putting a target on your back. Denny Cristalis, managing editor with the Signal Tribune newspaper.
Hello, I am Daniel Green. I am the production manager.
My name is Lisette Mendoza. I am an editorial intern.
My name is Nina Strickhardt. I'm the publisher of the Signal Tribune newspaper.
Part of my responsibility here is to actually be in charge of all the content.
In charge of design and laying out the paper. I kind of work as an intermediary between the editorial side of the paper and the advertising side.
I do a little bit of everything. I started off just proofreading the paper, just checking for like grammatical errors, punctuation errors.
Pay the bills. I oversee all of the folks who work here, all the staff, Lord help me. I help decide on what stories we're going to focus on.
So I usually always look through my email. That's the primary source of all our news, strangely enough. We are subscribed to all the newsletters for the city. You know, we have different groups that we subscribe to, and they send us their press releases, or we get phone calls, or it's just research that we do.
So even though I do write stories, my main job is to lay out stories, lay out pictures, but also being aware of advertising, making sure they're all placed correctly, the right sizes, the right ads are in that week. I make sure I don't miss anything.
I do a lot of designing for advertisements in the sales department here. I also still do photos, I still write, and I still make videos.
I make sure that the staff understands that we are to remain unbiased.
And so I edit press releases in a way that isn't press releasey, and then we have different writers who are either in office or are, just in general, like outside of office, and I kind of dictate what would be an important story, and then I assign that for them for the week. I would say community.
Stories. I think you tell stories.
Chaos.
History.
Even if you focus on my preference, feature stories, focusing on people, entities, groups, stuff in the community. If you diverge from that and still report on the crucial things, like news, city council, breaking news, crime, whatever, that still involves the community.
You tell people, you find out what happened, find out facts, and then you tell, you're basically storytellers in a way. You're trying to be as honest as possible, but I think you're telling stories to keep people informed.
I say chaos because in news, there's new things happening each single day. There's new assignments, there's new designs, there's always something different you have to do.
Even though it's current, it quickly turns into history, and being able to search through archives now, of course, online. It's a written record, but it's also an invitation is another word, because you're inviting the locals to take a look and find out what's going on in their own neighborhood, and you're inviting them also to go to local businesses.
Somebody who's open-minded, somebody who is creative and ambitious, and is just eager, obviously the basic thing would be like, yes, they're a good writer, and all that sort of thing. Yes, that's part of it, but you can be an excellent writer, but have a terrible attitude. As an intern, there's a informal agreement or acknowledgement that I am a student. I'm trying to learn from this place, I'm trying to get experience, be creative and try to push the envelope, and truly try to learn something. Don't just be here to be here.
Well, first of all, I want to know, why do you want to be here? What brought you to the Signal in the first place? Have you ever read our paper? Have you been online? Do you understand who we are? What is it that you think that you're going to learn here? But to me, if you've never even read our paper, get out of my office. Because there's no point. You're just doing this for school. Are you doing this because you really have a career path in mind? Or is this just part of a class and you're just going to try to just skim through it?
I don't want you to be a college student, journalism major, although there are exceptions, and just somebody who's passionate about writing, photography, video, all aspects. The core of that being storytelling. When it comes to being an intern here, you could either be an editorial intern, as you have been, who wants to write and do different things. That would require experience with journalism. But if that person wants to come in to just proofread, we have another intern, Kristen, who just comes in to proofread. She's not a journalism major, so there's that. You could be a proofreader. You can just come in for video, audio, like podcasting and stuff. I mentioned writing, or it hasn't really happened yet, but maybe even marketing, being an ad person and being invested in that department. So it all depends on what you want to do and whether you have experience in that specific thing. So typically it would just involve emailing or calling the office. So you would email newspaper@signaltribune.com or call our office number 562-595-7900. You would direct them all to me. So I'm in charge of all editorial content. So if you want to intern for stories and all that, it would be emailing to me. So Denny Cristalis, managing editor. That's everything, photography, video, and all that. But if you want to do like ad stuff, like marketing, as I mentioned, it would be our ad department, which would be advertising at signaltribune.com and stuff. I would encourage people to be comfortable doing the uncomfortable, be open-minded, and take opportunities and network. I had the opportunity to be a news editor. I could have said, no, I only want to do sports. Well, I wouldn't have learned a lot of the things that I know now. Also, networking. Talk to people, socialize, talk to your professors, utilize them, ask them for advice, ask questions, be talkative. This is a field where it's actually very important who you know as opposed to what you know. I mean, they both matter incredibly.
I would say try and work as much as on as many skills as possible, because nowadays you can't just be a writer, you have to be a designer. I got in here to be a journalist, I like writing, that's just mostly what I want to do, but all the other little things got me this job, because I didn't really expect to be a production manager. I just wanted to write, but I picked up in design along the way. I learned how to do photography. I learned a little bit of video. So I think having as many skills as possible, having one strength is really good. That's what you want to do, but being as well rounded as possible is always useful. And putting on a resume looks so much better than just saying I can write well.
There's a lot of areas of journalism. It's good to be good at all of them. It's good to know what you're doing. Nowadays, people want to hire people that know not just one skill.
You have to understand all aspects of the job. You do not need to know how to do them, but you need to know what you want, what you believe your readers want, because that's who's going to keep you alive. You've got to decide on what kind of integrity morals that you're going to be dealing with. But you gotta love it, man. You gotta love it. Pick something, understand where's the money coming from, understand you have to listen to your whole staff, but when it comes down to it, you're responsible.
We've hopped around a few offices from time to time, but we've always been in Signal Hill, a nice city within a city. It's Long Beach, and then there's Signal Hill. Another fact would be is that a lot of people call us the Signal Hill Tribune, when it's really just the Signal Tribune. We don't just cover Signal Hill, we cover Long Beach. About 75% of our readership is Long Beach, and 25% of it is Signal Hill. Of the 30,000 copies that we distribute, 25,000 go to Long Beach. And we have plenty of social media, which is only about 4 years old, because I'm the one that started Twitter, Facebook, and all that, so that's kind of cool. So we've recently been pushing to do social media, so that's another fact.
I started the paper in 2000, and we're in our 20th year now. We do not, as a paper, as an editorial board, we do not endorse candidates or measures. I don't believe that that is a newspaper's place, although most of them do. Not a perfect judge of character, therefore, been married 3 times. I don't want anybody to be swayed by what it is that I think. They need to find out things for themselves.
I think I learned a lot more design, which is something that was kind of one of my weaker skills. I was good at it, I was okay at it, but this one really did allow me to grow more with it. So that's a good one. Another good skill is also working with others. Because, I mean, being in school, you're around people of a certain age, you know, but once you're out in the real world, you know you're not going to be working with, you know, 18 to 23-year-olds all the time. So it's good to experience working with a lot of personalities and people of all age ranges.
It needs to be your passion. If it isn't your passion, move along, because then it's a job. It's a chore. Don't be afraid to try different kinds of things. Don't beat yourself up if in the first 10, 15 years of your adulthood you change jobs many times, because every single job you have, you learn a new skill that will take you that way. Plus you meet people who may put you in a completely different direction. My other opinion, for what it's worth, don't try to hurry up and get your education in 4 years. What the heck is the hurry? If you take your time, you're actually using what you're learning, and you can figure out that, oh, this has changed. Oh my gosh, here's another thing I might be interested in. Take your time. Please take your time. I didn't graduate till I was 39 years old. No, I do not have a degree in journalism. Had one class in 8th grade on journalism. I have a degree in psychology and marketing. Same thing. And what do? I sell advertising. So there it is.